And an hour passes.
Alright, so while we're sitting here, uh,
Yes? Yes? Yes?
Mercury is going to turn to Flint and say, now that everyone we've been traveling with is dead, you are the only person on this entire planet I trust. Granted, you don't,
Notice me, senpai.
you don't have the level of trust that I would like right now. But
I don't have the level of trust.
Look, I trust you, I just don't really trust you that much.
I wish to entrust you with information, but I don't know if I can right now. But more so than anyone else on the planet, if things go wrong, you're the person I trust to have my back. That being said, I'm sure you're aware Mercury isn't my real name.
It isn't?
No.
So what
And for the time being,
going with?
for the time being, I'd like for you to keep acting like it is. I'm not entrusting you with what it actually is. But if things ever get dire, truly bad, as an absolute last measure, ask for Millie if we know we're in danger.
Okay.
It doesn't matter where we are, if we are in a dire situation and you ask for Millie, I know.
Nilly. Oh
I know.
God.
It slipped
out. God.
If we're in a dire situation, say Nilly, and I know we're fucked. Like genocide level event.
He'll show up. He'll either kill all of us or all of them.
So
He'll just die from the first guy that has a metal pole.
Shut up.
Is that all you wanted to say?
if things are ever dire enough, find a way to bring Millie into the conversation, and I will know that we need to leave.
Well, I'll keep that in mind, and I will assume that I'll find out why one day.
Okay. Is there anything else you guys want to do in this hour? Of hourly and hourness?
No, I just wanted to...
Alright, then whoever's turn it is next, Merc, roll perception.
Fucking
Merc-
sorta nailed it.
Yeah. And my roll was great for you. So, Mercury, you notice out of the corner of your eye that there seems to be a human-sized figure barely within your the range of your photo contacts. It's like contacts, but there's something else on them.
There's
the photo
pictures.
contacts. You can't make out anything other than he appears to be about as tall as Flint, perhaps a little taller.
Alright. I pull out my gun, aim it at him, just in case he has better photo contacts than me and can see. Turn to Flint and say, there's someone off in the distance. We can't chance going over to find out who it is, in case the grate opens. But I think we should, at the very least, be aware of them or call them over. Thoughts?
Richard, do we have a good defendable position?
No, not particularly. You guys are kind of laying up against a wall. Like, most of the area around you is kind of in ruin. And where you are, you're leaning up against the wall that's with the ladder, because that's the fastest way you could both get to move it. So you're kind of in an open area with a wall to your backs, really.
Okay, so where's
There's another
some
building not far away.
defendable position, like some rebel on the ground or something?
Well,
like
if you walked around, it's not too far to get around, and then you would have the rubble of the building between you and the person.
Okay. Well, I feel like we should get a more defendable position, and if we go behind that rubble right there, it's at least some cover.
I just don't want to lose the opportunity and waste another day trying to get out of here.
No, I understand that.
Alright,
Well,
so you want to get behind the rubble before we call out?
I think at least one of us should.
You're more injured, so you take the cover.
Alright, I'll do it. I'll post up.
Besides, if things go bad, I can get behind the cover faster than you can.
This is true.
So, I wait for Flint to get in position.
Flint, how do you go about getting behind the cover?
I jog over there.
Okay. Then Flint gets behind his little rubble pile.
Right? Has he, do you pull your gun or anything, or you just,
Oh yeah, guns out and like on top of the rebel resting and aimed in that direction.
does he notice the guy after I point him out or no?
Yeah, he can see him. Like, he can see the outline like you can.
Okay. Are you aiming in that general direction, or?
He just said he was.
Okay. So I'm going to begin walking towards it at a fairly brisk pace to see if I can make out more of it before I just start calling out.
Alright, after walking, because he's pretty far, like he's at the edge of your photo contacts. Are you walking with your gun like drawn and aimed at him?
Yes.
Okay.
It's low right. I'm sorry. It's low right now as opposed to like.
So you're not
having
aiming
him
at
in
him,
sight.
you're just walking with it out.
Well, it is aimed towards him, but I'm not like staring down the sights that I don't have.
Okay.
So if he can see, he knows it's you know, aimed at him. But I'm not being aggressive like, huh? I'm gonna shoot you.
Hold on a second. Yeah, so he's about, you could estimate, since you're aware enough to know the range of your contacts is about 200 meters. As you get to about 100 meters, you notice that the figure seems to start moving with you.
Seeing as I've cut the distance in half, is it more than a silhouette at this point?
It's barely more than a silhouette. Like, you can't make out any features of the person. You can see that they are lightly armored and brandishing a sword. They're not holding it, but they have one, like in a belt.
Then at this point, I'd like to call out. Sound travels pretty far in this part of Gaia, right? Because it's flat and there are no buildings in the way.
Yeah, I mean, it'll echo slightly, but it'll travel
my
really
point is I don't have to shout for him to hear me.
Well, he's still 100 meters away. So
yeah.
You'll probably have to raise
But I mean,
your
I
voice
don't have to, like... I have to raise my voice, but I don't have to yell. Okay. Then Who are you? What are you doing here?
Put that gun down and tell your friend not to shoot me, and I'll tell you.
You'll have to forgive me. We have not had the most pleasant last couple of days. How about you give me some reason to put my gun down? Trust you even a little bit. And you've got it.
You can see him take his sword, like he takes his sword off his belt and ties it to his ankle.
Well, we don't have ciphers, so I guess I'll like flip around and just kind of do that to Flint and hope he kind of gets the idea.
Mm-hmm.
I don't take my gun off the rebel, but I stop aiming down the sights.
Okay.
So, I don't holster my gun, but I raise it up to show him and lower it down to my side.
Okay. He begins walking slowly toward Mercury. His sword kind of scraping along the ground because it's tied to his ankle.
Mm-hmm.
After he gets into about he approaches about 30 meters and holding his hands up like no threat. What are you guys doing down here?
At this point, even we're not sure.
How did you get in?
The vents. In all their glory. You?
I snuck in when an acolyte was taken. Like,
Alright, I might need a little bit more than that.
oh god, why did I forget their names? Lightbringer?
GM.
The cult outside. When one of they were chosen, the main gate to Graia opens before them. And the chosen get to walk in, and I snuck in as the gates were open to look for my sister.
Wait, you mean people have actually gotten in through the front gates?
Yes, it happens somewhat rarely, but the gates open every once in a while to allow one of the unfortunate chosen to get in.
I was under the impression that that was utter bullshit. I guess I wasn't being lied to. That's nice. Okay. Your sister's in here?
Yes, she was.
I'm guessing from the past tense you have either confirmed or understand that probably not so much anymore.
He doesn't say anything, but he kind of looks, like, his head visibly, like, looks down.
How long have you been in here?
Oh, I don't know. It must be at least a few months now.
Months? How much food did you bring in with you?
Oh, I didn't think I'd be in here that long, but I found a decent kitchen, though its supplies are running short now. It was enough to sustain me for as long as I've been in here.
What else have you found while you were in here? The kitchen we found was relatively raided, and there were no medical supplies to be found.
I've found many things, most of which unfortunately didn't help me in my quest, so I left most of my trophies behind as they began to weigh upon me. As he gets like a few meters closer, you can see that he's actually very thin and looks a bit malnourished. But I think most of all, I found the archway.
Still debating what we need to do with that. You wouldn't happen to have any ideas, would you? I take it you've looked upon it?
Yes, it is, quite a horrible thing. If I could destroy that damned thing, I would. And that maniac that controls this place.
His name is Sci-fi and he's dead.
Well, I suppose that's one person I can mark off on my list.
He was probably the last person we want dead at this point.
First one I wanted dead.
He was a little crazy. But he understood the archway and he knew it needed to be destroyed.
He doesn't say anything.
He was just about the only other person on this planet I trust. And that's a scary thought.
You must not have many friends.
I'm down to one. I lost the other two about 6 hours ago.
I'm sorry to hear that.
They made it about a week in here, so, that was better than I was expecting.
You can hear him chuckle a little bit.
Levity is important in these times. You can call me Mercury. May I know your name?
Do you, by any chance, have a way out of here?
Well, the longer we stand here, the better the chances that my companion takes it, and we have to wait another 24 hours. So, sort of.
Is there anything I could do to assist you? If you'll allow me to get out with you.
At this point, the only thing I need from you is to not stab me in the back. But other than that, you're free to wait with us.
Of course, I would never dream of stabbing another normal person in the back.
Let's not get carried away here. I don't think either of us is normal at this point.
No, but at least we're not the monsters this place creates.
I can't argue with you on that. I fucking hate this place.
He approaches to about 60 meters out from you and then just kind of looks between both you and Flint.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of waiting to see what you guys do.
Well, I'm going to sort of slowly begin backing towards Flint, not really keeping my eyes off him. He is 60 meters away, but I'm not going to let him out of my sight.
Yeah.
But I'm going to reiterate. So I didn't catch your name.
You said you were Mercury, correct?
I did.
My name is Dante Albinus.
Well, Dante, in these slightly troubling times, I suppose it's nice to see another normal-ish face.
Yes, I honestly lost hope that I would see any more humans in here, besides the unfortunate taken. Or chosen, sorry. The unfortunate chosen.
Do you know where they ended up?
Most were taken
Do they
to the...
just wander?
No, most are taken after the gates close to the laboratories and then locked behind the doors of the archway.
Who guides them in? Were you able to see?
No one guides them in.
How are they chosen?
They come of their own will. The door only opens when there is but one or two that it wishes to take.
And how did you sneak in, then, pray tell?
The door didn't see me, and it could not close swiftly enough to keep me out.
The more I find out about this place, the less I like it. Alright, well, for now, we wait, so if you'd like to follow me over, we're huddled between those two buildings, waiting for the vents to open.
Very good. Would it be alright if I put my sword back at my waist? I feel a bit odd having it attached to my ankle.
You are free to. However, this is nothing personal, but having just met you, and in a place such as Graia, you'll forgive me for not trusting you. I cannot put my gun away.
Very well. I suppose that can't be, I suppose that's to be expected.
Anyone who can survive a month in Graia with nothing but his wits, a sword, and a squalor supply of food is no man to be trifled with.
He, attaches his sword to his hilt and then approaches you. I suppose not, and I would be lying if I said I wasn't wary of you and your companion, but, I need to get out of here.
Believe me, we've survived on dumb luck. But survived nonetheless.
Very good. And he kind of... He's now, like, very close to you, and he's a very skinny man with very obviously, like, wiry strength in all of his muscles from having survived for a month on almost no food, but in such a harsh environment. He's wearing very thick, like it looks like leather armor that covers his torso. There are strikes of metal coming down from his leather coat that protect his arm a bit more, and thick leather pants. You can't tell what color it is because of your photo contacts. They don't determine color. They kind of look like slightly better night vision goggles. You can just tell that they're darkly colored.
Okay. So, I wait for him to get next to me, and then, I kind of walk sort of side by side, sort of a little bit behind him, just so that if he tries to make a move, I can, jump back and fire on him.
Get the drop.
Yeah. I don't want to be in a position where he can stab me from behind. I want him to have to flip around.
As you walk behind him, you take note that he has a quite long rapier at his hip and a dagger on his back. But he walks towards the wall where Flint and you were.
Okay. So, if you don't mind me asking, seeing as you were able to survive a month here, we were only here a few days and ran into quite a bit of trouble, but a couple members of our party were magnets for that sort of thing, so we might have skewed the numbers towards the higher end. How many monstrosities have you run into in your time in Graia?
You see kind of a look of acknowledgement come over his face. Well, besides the spiders and the ones that take the chosen after they have entered, there were actually very few until you showed up, brother.
Beg pardon?
You were the one that the psychotic running this place referred to as brother, correct? Or someone in your party was.
He referred to all of us as brother.
Ah. Well, I suppose he truly was insane. He looks between you and Flint, for you two are obviously unrelated.
We also had a woman in our party, so... He had a few moments of clarity before his death, but leading up to it, he was quite insane. That
yes,
being
I
said,
suppose you'd have to be to run a place like this.
for as long as he did as well.
How long was he doing what he was doing?
Upwards of a couple decades.
You can see a flash of anger cross his face, but he quickly remains his composure. Interesting.
Who leads the Chosen?
Men made of more metal than flesh. They come and they take them in their vice-like claws and they drag them into the cursed laboratories up on the 300th floor.
And how many have you fought while in here? Or have you managed to avoid that?
Initially I managed to avoid it, but I saw that they took another man, and I didn't realize that the gates had opened, and well, as I was trying to get him out to see if he knew a way in and out of Graia, a very large commotion happened in the laboratory I was in, and I was unable to extract him before they noticed my presence, and I had to flee.
Alright, well, I'm just curious, because if he's referring to the same lab, weren't we on the 3000th floor?
Yeah.
So he was 2,700 floors below us?
That's just where you can ask him.
How long ago was this commotion?
Oh, a few hours, I suppose? Maybe a day. It's quite hard to tell time down here, but at least a few hours.
Were you able to see the man they captured?
Yes, he was wearing red leathers. He seemed to be a fairly, a tall man.
Granted, Mercury was not paying a whole bunch of attention to Eames when we came in.
He appears to be describing Eames.
Okay. Well, I meant, would Mercury know that? Because that was, I was still just healing from my near death, and I was...
Both Mercury and Flint would be peaked enough to not... it's obviously not proof that it's Eames, but Eames wore very brightly colored red leather all over. He was quite... His dress was a bit flamboyant for a person who was sneaking into places.
Yeah.
So
are we close enough that Flint could hear that? Are we close enough that Flint could hear that? Because I thought we were still walking back.
Oh no, you guys are at the wall.
Oh, we're at the wall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then Flint is free to join in the conversation. I thought we were walking back.
Yeah, you guys are at the wall. Flint could obviously hear that. He just hasn't acknowledged Flint because he seems to have like kind of a rapport with you, and he'd prefer to at least keep that going.
Mm-hmm.
He appeared to be maybe 30 or 40 years old.
And you say this only happened a few hours ago? Or you merely tried to get him out a few hours ago?
I tried to get him out and the commotion happened a few hours ago.
How long were you attempting to rescue?
Well, they took him to a laboratory I wasn't familiar with, and so I had to spend some extra time trying to figure out if there was any entrances I could exploit. And I finally found one, and thought of a good enough plan that I believed I could get him out, but it didn't go so well. And he looks down, and you can see a kind of a large cut that's been patched over with a very simple cloth band-aid.
Mm-hmm. Which laboratory did they take him to?
It was many floors up, but I don't know of any signifiers that showed the laboratory's number.
You said you were familiar with the laboratory. Is it the one that they took the two chosen?
No, as I said, it was a different laboratory, much higher.
Oh no, the other. You said you were unfamiliar with the one that they took him to. Which one were you familiar with?
Oh yes, the ones on the 300th floor I'm quite familiar with, as that is usually where they take the chosen. But it is much more heavily guarded.
Hmm.
Mounting a rescue mission there would be infeasible.
Did you spend much of your time in Graia at the 300th floor laboratory?
Split between there, exploring, and the kitchen.
How did you navigate your way through Graia?
I simply learned it.
Given a month, I suppose that makes sense.
I drew a crude map, and as I explored more, I just added to it.
Did you take the stairs to the 300th floor or the elevator?
I took one of the elevators.
What
And-
markings indicated it was the 300th floor?
Initially I took the stairs, and then, as I grew more comfortable with the fact that there weren't actually that many monsters in here, I started using the elevators.
Hmm.
There are markings on almost all of the, doorways of the flights up, which floor you were on.
I suppose we were generally just too busy to have noticed that.
Yes, you've only been here, a few days.
Yes, but those few were more than enough.
On that we both agree.
Well, Flint, I'm not sure if you could hear when he introduced himself, but this is Dante Albinus.
Hello, Dante.
Pleased to meet you, and he puts out his hand.
I shake it.
You look like a man who could take care of himself.
I try.
Very good.
Flint, are you feeling any better than you were this morning? Or afternoon? Or a few hours ago?
Not really.
How, 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 if Pressed.
If pressed, I'll get my ass up there.
And the grate? Do you think you could hold the grate?
Probably.
Do you have any confidence with that statement?
You would, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm feeling very confident today.
God,
Yeah.
bring that one back.
That's a callback. Holy fuck. His confidence is raging.
Sub
today.
week 4.
Yeah.
Vision of the Tyrant Star.